Alright, this week's assignment. You're making a simple password checker. You're obviously going to be using Scanner in the console again. You're going to be using nextLine, which is that method from Scanner that lets you bring in strings from the user. And my objective is to just show you guys the process of looping through until a user meets a certain condition. So in this assignment, you'll create a simple password checker. You'll create a variable that will store a password and accept input from the user until they get the password right. So the first thing that you're going to do is you're going to create a variable that stores the password that the user must enter. This variable should never change. Make it something I will look in your code to see what the password is supposed to be, and then I will play on from there. Create another variable. Also, before I move on, do not use any of your actual passwords. Do not put an actual password that you use on a regular basis as your password in this program. There is none, but if I don't say it, someone will. Anyways, the next thing is to create another variable called input that will store the user's input. And to start with, what you should do is you should set this variable equal to an empty string. The next thing that you're going to do is you're going to create a while loop that will repeat while the password variable is not equal to the input variable. Inside the while loop, prompt the user for input and accept it, and save it to that same variable input. That way you don't have to mess around with your loop at all. It will always end up in input, that way it can be checked against. Once the user has entered the correct password, print your signature block. And you can change the quote if you want. You don't have to. You won't lose points, blah, 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 blah. And you don't have to notify the user if they get it wrong in this instance. That adds a level of complication that I didn't really feel like adding to this assignment. You can if you want to. And there may be an extra point or two here involved if you do that. But just keep in mind that, if the user gets it wrong, just make sure that your loop is waiting to accept new input if they do get it wrong. That being said, don't forget about the not operator and the equals method that can be used on strings. Those will be important when you're creating your condition for your while loop. It will be very similar to the example that we just saw in the previous video. And don't forget that this is going to involve using system.out and scanner for prompting for and accepting user input. This one is not designed to be difficult. But if you want to do, you got this wrong, try again sort of deal, or you got this right, blah, 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 blah. The requirements are here. You can go above and beyond whenever you want if you feel like it, but you don't have to. This is not designed to be all that hard. It's just supposed to introduce you to while loops and not really hammer anything home. So unless Hunter has another question, we are pretty much done for this week. Really not a whole lot of content this week, and the next week or two will probably be like that. Once the next couple of weeks is over, we'll get into a little bit more nitty-gritty, a little bit more the bigger concepts in Java, and then class will be done. With that being said, I think we're done here. Yeah.